The light bulb moment. I'll try to keep this brief. I've been sleeping with a married man for over 3 years now. His wife is actually one of my best friends and we are close. She does not know that I have been sleeping with him. The guilt has been building up in me over time and I want to end the relationship with him. He does not want to end it, but it just makes me feel so bad when I see her and talk to her on the phone. She often asks me for relationship advice and confides in me things that are going on in their marriage. I have watched their kids on occasion and I've slept with him several times while the kids were in the house. I have decided to either find a way to tell her without destroying her relationship or either completely removing myself from their life. And while she may think that I abandoned her as a friend, she would never know that I was sleeping with her husband. I've spoken to him about what I decided and he blew up. He doesn't want this to end and I'm afraid he might hurt one of us if I tell her what's been going on. The other woman. I've always been a good friend to her. I know what I was doing with him was wrong, but that was a separate issue from our friendship. I wouldn't have treated her any different even if I wasn't sleeping with him. I'm not saying I'm a victim, but I do feel that I've felt that my role in this situation has been keeping them together. It's tough to explain, but I was giving him what he needed on the side so that he could be a better husband and father to her. That makes any sense. The easiest thing for me to do, and that's just to walk away. I fear that one day she might find out and come looking for me. If she has to find out, it would probably be better coming from me, but I would feel so guilty if I'm the cause of breaking up their relationship. I'm neither a villain nor a tramp. I always treated her with respect and I treated her as a good friend. It was never my intention to destroy her life or marriage. I feel guilty because I now see that I'm in the middle of their marital issues and I want to remove myself. I am sorry and I do feel guilty, but to think that I was a villain to her would be wrong. I know that she would be hurt if I decide to tell her, but I feel that one day in the future, she would appreciate this entire situation. At least she would know that he was sleeping with me and not some other prostitute in the streets. She wouldn't see it now, but I've been watching over her, and any other woman in the streets wouldn't care enough about her to tell her the truth or completely walk away and end it the same way that I will. I actually care about their relationship and I don't want them to end it because of me. I do realize she might feel betrayed by me. I just truly believe that one day she'll be able to see that I wasn't all bad for them. Maybe I'm naive for this, but I always hoped that she could patch the holes up in her marriage so that he wouldn't have to sleep with me. I was hoping it gotten to the point that he wouldn't need to sleep with me anymore. They had problems in their marriage, and although that's none of my business, it wouldn't be fair to shift all that blame to me because of the affair. I know what I've been doing is absolutely horrible, but what I'm saying is that my sole intention in life was not to destroy her or their relationship. I was truly a good friend. She's been in my house and I've been in hers. She trusts me around their kids. All of those feelings and moments were genuine. Yes, I feel guilty and horrible for sleeping with him, but that does not mean that I was an evil bee to her. That's the point I'm trying to make. I've never used any information against her, but there was a stretch of time where she suspected he might have been cheating. I did mislead her into thinking that he wasn't cheating, and she didn't mention those thoughts to me anymore. I am truly sorry for all that. I have stopped, and no, I don't consider us to be friends anymore. I've been driven over the past couple months to come clean to her. Of course, I've been feeling guilty and it gets stronger every day. It wasn't until March, when she was staying home more due to the lockdown, and she would complain to me about how he wouldn't initiate it or he would only want something simple from her. She confided in me about this while at the same time, he would come to my house or we would meet up and have full-blown bonding. I tried to convince her that maybe he was stressed out due to work and their financials, when I really knew that he wasn't willingly sleeping with her because he was already getting the cookie from me. That was the final straw for me, and that's why I've decided to stop this behavior. I'm not trying to pretend that I'm holy or that I was righting a wrong, but I just feel ashamed and I don't want to be stuck in the center of this when, if it ever comes out. I'm seeing someone and he did propose, but I'm currently not married. He knows that I see other men, and that will continue until we are officially married. That's if I even decide to accept his offer to marry. That's beside the point of my issue, but the answer is that I'm not cheating on anyone. He does not know who I see, but he knows that it does happen. I'm not bothered by the negativity since I expected to be pounded repeatedly once I posted my problem. I have given up sleeping with him and it won't happen again. I just wanted to know which choice would seem to have the best outcome for them. Whether that's leaving with no explanation or spilling all the details to her. I'm leaning towards just cutting them off and moving on with my life. However, I feel that if I ever found out that he eventually found another woman to replace me, I'd want his wife to know. I really want to get it off my chest and tell her, but I just don't see any scenario where I can come out looking like a decent human being for telling the truth. I feel like the fact that I slept with him would overshadow the fact that I stood up and told the truth. My honesty and loyalty to her shouldn't be lost in all of this. In case you can't tell, I do actually consider her a close friend. I do care for her. I'm sorry I put her in this position, and I would want her to know that I still cared for her if she were to find out. I'm not here to be judged on whether or not I was a good friend because I know what I am good. I just made a mistake, but that doesn't change the way that I feel for her as a friend. I'd take a bullet for her today, and she knows that. Of course, she might hate me if she found out about the affair, but that issue is separate from our friendship. And yes, I've removed myself from the relationship and will not sleep with him anymore. I see how he manipulated both of us and I'm over it. I admit that I would feel hurt. However, I can't ignore the fact that it was my job to please my husband, so if he did step outside of our marriage, it was because of an issue that we had. I'm not trying to shift the blame to my friend, but there's no way that she could think that she was an innocent victim over all this time. She would have to understand that there are some things that she's done over the years that have pushed him away. I hate to judge her, but she's told me some things that proves that she's not an angel, and I don't think she would be surprised to find out he's been stepping out with me. Don't get me wrong, I know I'm wrong in this, but you seem to present that scenario to imply that I'm the only one at fault here. OP updates. I'm really surprised that my friendship with her is coming into question. Listen, intimacy and friendship are two different things. They can exist independently. Just because I sleep with a man doesn't mean I hate his wife. It actually has no bearing on how I feel about this family. I don't know why it's so hard to believe, but I thought I was helping them out. At least that's what he convinced me of. I spent time out of my own life being a friend to her, and I never said to myself that I'm her enemy because I'm sleeping with her husband. I could have taken him from her, but I don't want him. This could have been a lot worse, but I was the person holding everything together. I realized that sleeping with him is not best for their marriage, so I've stopped. We met one last time to be together last night, and I told him that I'm done. He can tell his wife if he wants, but that's not my business anymore. I'm not telling her anything. He's not taking it well, but I don't care anymore. I'm not leaving her as a friend, but if he keeps pushing me for bonding, I'll have no choice but to abandon both of them. At least there's a chance that he could turn things around and salvage his marriage before she finds out. I realized from the response here that if I told her, there's almost for sure chance that their marriage will be destroyed and she'll make my life a living hell. I thought I could somehow avoid it, but it doesn't seem possible. I'd rather deal with that headache down the line if she finds out. If not, then that's better for everyone. Still, I consider her one of my closest friends, and the last 3 years didn't change that. My comment: you are not a friend, you're sleeping with her husband. Are you kidding me? Since you are thinking you are her friend, tell her as a friend who her husband really is and what he has been doing to her. She deserves to know. And you not telling her is a really wimpy way of slithering away without actually helping her. You are in a situation that you shouldn't be in. What caused you to be in that situation? And what is the real reason you don't want to get out of the situation? If it's fear, then why not weigh out the fears? Would you rather have your best friend find out herself by catching you too? Or would you rather her kids catch you? How about if the word got out in public before you told her? The fear of telling her and ending it with him greater than the previous questions. He has a lot to lose too. His fear of his wife finding out is causing him to force you to be fearful of revealing the situation. He started being your high, your thrill, your joy. The best way to end it is gradually pulling away and building more and more willpower. Story 2. I am 36 and have been with my wife for 14 years, 2 of which we have been married. We have 3 young children together, 8, 6 and 3 years old. About 3.5 months ago, after an argument one day, my wife told me she would like me to move out of the house, in a trial separation of sorts. I was taken a bit back by this. I did sense something was building with her. She had started a new job in May that was very demanding and required her to work late and travel. I stepped up and took over both drop-off and pick-up duties for the kids' school. Daycare, as before it was more of a split. I typically do most of the cooking and cleaning anyway, plus we have an au pair, so we do have help. The argument developed on the tail end of a business trip where she was gone almost a full week. Upon getting home, she started complaining how things were messy and how I didn't care about the house and that the garage was a mess. I mistakenly got defensive. I mean, she was gone an entire week. I was left with all of the responsibilities of the kids and the house. Did she expect I'd finally get to the garage while she was gone? Then it progressed. There have been problems for years. She will always love me but doesn't feel in love with me. She isn't happy, and this is not how she pictured her life. She thought we would be more financially secure by now, and we are not. She doesn't think I care enough about her, and she wanted me to leave. I told her I wasn't leaving. I spend most of the time with the kids. I do pickups and drop-offs and homework. They cry for me when they wake up in the middle of the night. She was free to go if she wanted. I work full-time. She makes a bit more money than I do, but not when you divide by all the hours we work. I've never been unemployed and have consistently earned 6 figures throughout our marriage and managed to be a present parent and a present husband. In the end, I decided to start sleeping upstairs in a spare bedroom as a compromise, as we really can't afford a second apartment and all of my family is in New York and we live in Florida. Rewind a bit. Have I been perfect? Hell no. We were in our mid-20s when we got married. I was young and naive. I may have ignored some early signs of turmoil inadvertently. There were times during the pregnancy where we both gained lots of weight and I didn't look very good. We had babies sleeping in our beds and we were not intimate very often. We did pump out 3 babies in 5 years, so there were lots of ups and downs as far as intimacy, weight gains and losses, as well as stress and arguments. I had a hard time getting childcare so we can have alone time. My parents couldn't or wouldn't help as much as my wife thought they should, financially and babysitting, which caused other stressors. The fact that I didn't demand more of them upset her. She is an only child and only grandchild, so a bit spoiled. I have 3 siblings. My parents are not wealthy and my mother would later develop cancer. My other siblings are kind of crap and I was the successful son and didn't want to burden them. In the end though, I was always supportive of her. If she wanted to work or stay home, she changed her mind a lot. What care she wanted for the babies. I literally went to every OB appointment for all 3 pregnancies. I'd leave work or take off if she felt sick, woke up in the middle of the night to keep her company while she breastfed, woke up myself and let her sleep so I can bottle feed and change diapers even though I had rot the next day. Whatever it took to make her happy, or what I thought would make her happy, I did. I have never cheated on my wife, never have come close. I would never put myself in a situation to even be tempted, as my family is the most important thing to me. I've never ever hit her. I don't have expensive hobbies or gamble or have made financial decisions without consulting her. I routinely wake up early to help my wife get out of the house to her early gym class that she likes to take and sacrifice my own work to let her work. She is brilliant and currently a step away from becoming an executive at a large company. She has more potential for earnings, I admit it, so I do the best I can to help her achieve her goals and dreams while still earning a pretty good living where I can be flexible enough to pick up the slack with the kids. In early 2018, my wife was working with this personal trainer, life coach. The trainer was a female. My wife became a bit enamored with her and was acting strangely. She was shutting me out and I noticed she started sleeping with her phone under her pillow. Going against my belief that she deserves privacy, I couldn't help myself. I took her phone quietly one night and started reading texts with this trainer. It turns out there was a bit of an emotional affair with this person going on. She even kissed her once, on New Year's Eve, which happens to be the anniversary we met. I must have been distracted and a bit drunk, entertaining when it occurred. I was devastated. She woke up in a panic and begged for the phone back and asked me to stop reading. So, I did. I was hurt, angry, and demanded she stop seeing the trainer. She wouldn't. So, I contacted the trainer, which caused further strains. The trainer assured me that my wife just had a girl crush and that she was straight and not interested in my wife. We started seeing a therapist, though the therapist focused more on my wife and didn't require me to go very often. I started focusing on myself. I got a new, better paying and more fulfilling job and started working out again. Dieting came easy as I was lovesick and had no appetite. I got fit fast. I shed 50 pounds and added 15 in muscle. I shaved my head and let go of the few wisps of hair remaining and grew more confident. At this point, my wife and the life coach had a falling out and it got ugly. I'm talking this woman calling CPS, making false claims, and the cops at our house several times. My wife ended up being served a restraining order at work, causing her to get fired. Legal fees ensued and the restraining order upheld, preventing my wife from visiting our 1HOA clubhouse during certain times for a year. Turns out this life coach specialized in ruining marriages. We had uncovered some other people hard done by her. The strange part is how she had a hold on my wife, who is typically so strong, and it was so out of character. Almost like she had a spell on her. I supported my wife throughout. I took her side and was determined not to let this woman destroy us. Along with my improved physical appearance, this helped a lot. We started becoming more affectionate and planning date nights and little getaway. Things got really good and would remain so for nearly a year. During the good period, my wife took a job which was relatively low stress compared to what she was used to. She didn't have much choice, it was what she could find. Things were good. Then, as mentioned, this past May she took this more demanding, higher paying job, and that's when I started noticing things falling apart again. I tried to prevent another breakdown, but maybe didn't do enough. I don't know, I wish I could go back and try something else, but I can't. She is more irritable, seemingly blames me for all of life's problems. I am confused and hurt. I thought she might be cheating on me again. She denies the thing with the trainer was cheating, but it was. She insists she's not. Some snooping and her schedule make me believe she is not. I mean, unless she is an evil mastermind, I doubt she is. We are seeing a new therapist, but our joint sessions seem to strain things more, so we have been doing solo sessions. Things seem to start getting better and progressing, then she regresses again. It's very hot and cold. She expects me to carry on doing everything a husband would do. She texts me when she gets yelled at work and needs comfort. When she was sick recently, I stayed home to take her to the doctor and make her soup. She locked her keys in the car and calls me. She asks for back or foot rubs when she is sore from the gym or wearing heels. We have our normal nightly routine where we watch TV together and chat. We do things together as a family, have a short Orlando trip planned this weekend and a trip to NY for Christmas. But in the end, she won't let me or invite me because I've stopped asking. Back into bed and obviously no intimacy. Prior to 4 months ago, we were pretty routinely getting it in at least 4 times per month. Before her new job, even more. She still undresses in front of me, showers in front of me. It's very difficult for me. I'm very attracted to her. I love her, or a version of her I know she can be when she is less stressed. I know 4 months without bonding isn't that long. I've seen people posting going years without it. I'm trying to be patient and understanding and more helpful. The more I do, though, the more I am asked to do. I'm not perfect and mess some stuff up or forget stuff, and she always uses it to confirm her feelings that I suck. It's hurting my confidence and affecting my performance at work. It's like I can do a million things right and the one mess up erases it all. She is hard on me and verbally so. I'm usually able to let it roll off my back, but I have Sicilian blood in me, and when in the wrong mood I snap back, sometimes making it even worse. She sometimes will come over and hug me, usually while I'm sleeping, and plant a kiss on my head. Sometimes she kisses me hello and goodbye before work. Sometimes she pulls away with a nasty look when I try to kiss her or hug her. That hurts. Strangely, my wife would sometimes initiate bonding with me in her sleep. When I was in bed with her and I'd be sleeping too, it would sometimes turn to bonding. She would remember that we had slept together the next day but did not remember initiating it. Pretty recently I tried to wake her up. She fell asleep on the couch to get her to bed, and she started making out with me. I laughed it off, woke her up more fully, and put her in bed. If we're both sleeping, that's one thing, but I was awake and it would have been wrong, as nice as the kiss was, to try and get more out of it. It's almost as though there is a part of her deep inside that wants me and is trying to get out. I don't know, it's confusing. It feels as though she does not respect me. I don't know what I can do to command it either. When I stand up for myself and push back, it can get really ugly. Recently I had enough one night and told her that as much as I didn't want to break up the family, we may need to divorce. We would need to sell the house in order to really separate. She kind of panicked when I really got down to the plan. She said I would pay alimony and she would keep the house. I laughed that off and said I did the research. Even if she was awarded alimony, which she wouldn't because she earns more money than me, it would be a pittance and she still wouldn't be able to afford it. Not to mention how suing for alimony would effectively bankrupt us both. She started crying that she didn't want to break up the family, and it was at this point she agreed to counseling again. Fast forward a few months, she really hasn't made any effort, besides going to the meetings, to actually fixing the relationship. Call me old-fashioned, but I made vows and promises in front of our friends and family. I don't want to give up on her, as I know without the stresses, she is a good partner. We complement each other and have achieved a lot together. She is a great mother when she's not working. She is beautiful and intelligent, and I love her. With all that being said, I am terribly unhappy with the situation. I'm still a young guy at 36. I am in the best shape of my life, and I have a lot to offer to somebody who is willing to accept my love. And my wife does seem willing to accept it. She just is not willing to reciprocate it at the moment. How do I command more respect? It's such a tightrope to walk. I need to be sensitive but strong, confident yet modest. I need to command respect without being a jerk or seeming possessive. It's a really hard game to win. Sometimes I want to throw in my chips, heal, and start new. Then I think of my 3-year-old and that he won't even remember having his family intact if I left. Or my 8-year-old who may remember and long for the times mommy and daddy were together. It breaks my heart. I don't know which is worse. At the end of the day, all I really need is some love and affection from my wife, and for her to take some responsibility for what is not perfect in our lives. At the end of the day, it's a good life. We have a beautiful house, healthy children, nice cars, and good, well-paying jobs. There is every reason to be happy. She did swear to me she hasn't cheated. I mean, she would have to be an excellent liar and great at covering her tracks. Typically, she doesn't lie to me as much as avoid questions. I wish she did cheat on me with another man sometimes and that I'd find out. It would be easy then for me to just leave her. I couldn't accept that. I do agree that she has depression or anxiety or something. There is mental illness that runs in her family. We don't really get into too many bust-ups in front of the kids, but I do think I am setting a bad example for my sons, as my dad did when dealing with my mom's alcoholism growing up. I do think that my wife suffers from something that has gone undiagnosed. It's hard to tell somebody you think they are crazy and need help. I'm hoping the current therapist we use uncovers something and refers her to a psychiatrist. I am on the brink though. I've told her twice now that we may need to just sell the house and divorce. She always has a way of delaying. We'll talk about it more after the kid's birthday or after the holiday or after this crazy work week. She just keeps kicking the can down the block. Then in the interim things start to get better for a while. Seems like we're making progress. Then she'll start to grow dark again and regress. And when I think of our relationship as a whole of 14 years, we have had maybe 3 or 4 periods of a few months each when it has been really bad. So, for the most part, the relationship has been good. Maybe I need an epiphany, or maybe she does. I'm not sure. I'm hoping for the best but am prepared for the worst. I know I'll land on my feet. I'm fairly certain I'd be able to find somebody new who respects me one day. I'm not so sure about her though. She is beautiful and plenty of guys will want sleep with her. But as far as a relationship is concerned, I'm not sure many will deal with her baggage and the fact that she has 3 children, long term. I know she is in for a lot of hurt if I leave. I love her, I don't want her to be hurt. I don't want to subject my kids to a parade of men, maybe women. I made a promise, for better or for worse. I have a hard time breaking my promises. The only instance of cheating I noticed was with that woman trainer. I caught on to that pretty fast, within days of the occurrence. We spend lots of time together. She doesn't exhibit many signs of cheating. Not on her phone, texting a lot, not on social media. As I mentioned, when she travels for work, she's usually a mess and stays in regular contact. Part of me wants her to be cheating. It'd be easy, I've asked bluntly. When she asked me to move out, I said tell me you're cheating or have cheated and I'll be gone. She wouldn't. I mean, if that's what she really wants and all she has to do is admit to an affair, why wouldn't she? Part of me is not really ready to give up hope on my marriage. Part of me knows I may have to move on sooner or later. I am in good shape, I dress well, have lots to offer. I make plenty of money, though my wife's spending is why we are in trouble. I'm relatively modest in my spending. I will throw in the towel eventually, but I need to make sure I exhaust every avenue first. I know once we are separated she will start to resent me more and make my life difficult in other ways. If we can get back to where we were last year, before she took this job, and sustain it for a few years until the kids are a bit older. I don't know. She mentioned offhand that she had mentioned offhand prior to leaving she was getting her period. She was also a bit sick with a cold and complaining how bad her skin looked and unattractive she felt. That's a reason I do believe that no cheating occurred. I don't doubt on the other hand that maybe somebody caught her eye or she found somebody who was more successful than me who she wishes she could pursue. I've gone through her phone a few times, her work phone too. I want to know if she's cheating on me. She'll buy me stuff sometimes if I mention offhand something broke or is falling apart. Other than that, no. I work out 6 days a week and at 36 it takes its toll. I complain of pain sometimes but don't get offers of back rubs. I mean, I don't flat out ask for them like she does though. She isn't very thoughtful towards me though. For our 10-year wedding anniversary this past summer, she ran out and bought a card that morning, but didn't fill it out. It sat on her nightstand for several weeks until we had an argument and I brought up that she couldn't even bother to fill out a card for our 10-year wedding anniversary. I really do think there is a mental health issue, which is why I haven't thrown in the towel yet. But the more I think about it, the more I think I may have to. I feel so bad for my little babies. The thought of not seeing them every day hurts me. And they're dead. I need to be there to protect them, every day and every night. If they wake up scared, they look toward me. My oldest thinks I'm a superhero. I sacrifice my happiness for them. I know I shouldn't, but they're so young. I have looked into narcissistic personalities and bipolar disorders. She does exhibit signs of both. Her uncle is a diagnosed schizophrenic. Her mother is definitely something too and verbally abuses her husband often. I've had to ask her to refrain from doing so in front of my children. Her mom definitely screwed her up. She was basically raised by her grandparents and bounced around as a child. She doesn't know her biological father. There are also some hormonal issues. I do believe she isn't mentally well. Maybe one of the above, maybe just large amounts of stress and anxiety. I wouldn't leave her if she had cancer, so I'm not going to give up on her for this reason, yet. I do believe that she hasn't recently physically cheated on me. There are no signs of emotional cheating, yet. I do agree if I don't turn things around soon it will likely happen. I'm trying to get her help. I'm hoping our therapist will find something and refer her. The period story is true. We share a bathroom, and until that trip we were being intimate fairly regularly and I kept track of her cycles so I had a sense of when I'd get some action. I am a dude after all. She does love the kids and plans lots of fun stuff for them. She coordinates tutors and birthday parties. It's her way of contributing right now. There were times when I was working full-time and finishing up a master's degree where she had to take on a bit more, so I am okay with taking it on now. It's only fair. She gave me more grief than I give her, but that's her personality. She gave birth to my 3 children, 3 C-sections. I was there for every minute of it and saw what she went through. It's easy to recommend leaving somebody, but when you love that person and you've been through so much and share so much together, it's not easy to decide to do so. I'm not worried about being alone. I get plenty of attention from women since I've gotten in shape. I of course always stammer something about my wife and kids when I feel like I'm being hit on or flirted with, but I know I could meet new women if I wanted to. I'm not concerned about being alone. I really want to try and keep our lives intact. That's why I put up with it. Over a 14-year period there has been better than bad, at least that's how I choose to remember it. I like my house. I don't want my kids to have to move into smaller apartments. We worked so hard to achieve what we have and I don't want to throw it away yet. I don't want to bleed my life's work to divorce lawyers and rent. I do love my wife. We haven't been intimate but we still spend time alone together on the weekends. Maybe it's just food shopping while my in-laws have the kids and we work out together usually on Saturday mornings. But we do enjoy each other's company still. She does tell me she loves me sometimes. True or not I don't know. Once during a heated discussion, she said she did love me. My response was, well yeah, I love my sister too, but that's not the kind of love I'm looking for. She's just too stressed right now to be able to feel that kind of love. As much as she contributes financially, I wish she would quit or lose the job and go back to her old place where she was a big fish and seemingly happier and more comfortable. Let's see how our road trip goes tomorrow and the holidays at my parents' in NY in 2 weeks. I'm curious to see how the 14th anniversary of the day we met goes on New Year's Eve. After the new year I'll reassess. If I'm still in the same situation, I'll likely go to a lawyer and start the paperwork to see if that spurs her into getting help. If it doesn't, then at least I can look my kids in the eye one day and tell them I did everything I could. I have asked her. She said that her fling, attraction, whatever it was, had nothing to do physically. I do know she experimented with women before we met. Perhaps she's bi. I've told her several times, if she tells me she is in love with someone else, or wants to date other people, or wants to date women, that I would throw the towel in. Until she stops wearing her wedding ring and or tells me she desires someone else, I still have something to fight for. She usually enjoys herself when we were being intimate. If she didn't, nobody bats 1,000. She certainly let me know. She is not the type to fake it to make me feel better, as you can see from my previous posts. She even initiated once in a while or gave me strong signals that she wanted me to. So, I know she enjoyed sleeping with me until fairly recently, 4 months 4 days, but who's counting? I'll continuing to go to therapy. I've read a ton of books and will read those recommended to me by responders. I am usually a happy-go-lucky guy. I'm very competitive and usually pretty confident. In fact, when we first started dating, she chased me harder than I had chased her. I was dating 2 other women when we met and I didn't instantly drop them. It's hard to stay confident though when your own wife won't sleep with you and give affection. She's like my kryptonite, or along with thinking about potentially hurting my kids. I don't always put her on the pedestal. We've had some fights and I've said some not so nice stuff and have told her how I feel. It usually makes things worse, but everyone has their limits. I do continue to do nice things for her, but I don't do them out of expectation of anything or because she'll get mad if I don't. I do them because I want to. I'm an Italian-American raised in Brooklyn. I grew up scrapping. It's not like I'm some soft dude. I just have a soft spot for her and my kids. Honestly, a lot of it's for my kids. Maybe it's an Italian thing. Maybe I watched my stubborn Italian father deal with an abusive alcoholic wife, my mom, all my life. They are still together. One thing that does get to my wife, when she says something mean to me or treats me unkind, I ask her how she would like it if one of our son's wives treats him like this one day. She doesn't like that one. I get it, man. I am trying to find more signs and am trying to convince myself, to the point where I feel like I'm chasing shadows. The thing is, if she is cheating, she is really good at it. She is getting it done with not a lot of time. She isn't like dressing up or wearing lots of makeup. If I could catch her cheating, I think I'd have an easier time letting go. She has put on some weight lately and is constantly complaining about her skin and how ugly she feels. So, I really don't think she is sleeping with somebody else. There is a better chance it is emotional cheating. She certainly isn't holding up to her end of the bargain of our vows. She has broken them and I won't be surprised if she continues to break them. I mean, she is neglecting her duties as a wife. I don't mean bonding. She is not holding up to the thick and thin portion of our vows. Maybe she is seeking other methods of coping. Maybe she has her eye on somebody and has some fantasy in her head. All of this I don't know. All of it is probably just as bad as sleeping with somebody else and is divorceable anyway. My point is, if she is cheating on me physically or not is irrelevant. She is being a crappy wife either way and I probably should divorce her. The kids are the reason I'm willing to work with her and find the happiness we had together last year and for many of the years we were together. I may not be able to. If I do find out she is physically cheating on me, that would likely be the last straw to make me give up. I've tried to uncover it. I've had no luck so far. I will keep you all posted if I do. I'm not afraid of the truth. Honestly, we had a very volatile weekend together on a short family trip. I looked very close for signs of her cheating. She is an emotional wreck right now and I think she wouldn't be able to handle an affair on top of everything else going on. She does need help though. I'm trying to help her. Even if I divorce her, she is still my children's mom, and I want to make sure she is mentally sound. I am not 100% sure of anything. I think there is a good chance she is cheating or has cheated more than I know. But I also think there is an equal chance she is just really messed up in the head right now. At this point I am trying to get past next week with my mind intact. I don't want my kids to associate the holidays with when Dad decided to throw in the towel on the family. I've decided that after the holidays I am going to a lawyer for some advice and to understand my rights and approach her with a divorce plan. I still have the hope it will be an eye-opener for her to get the help she needs so we can keep our family intact. If not, then we go through with the plan and one day I can tell my kids honestly that I tried everything I could to keep it together. I find myself getting used to the idea of separation. I'm trying to visualize a new life, a new apartment, even a new girlfriend, eventually. My biggest weakness right now is my children. I am willing to sacrifice my happiness for theirs. Most parents are. Her obsession is with work. I can see it's all she thinks, cares, and talks about. If she is having an affair of sorts, it's that she is pouring everything she has into her job and neglecting me and to a degree the kids. She overcompensates with them when she has the chance out of guilt but continues to neglect me. Our therapist said the same thing. She highly doubts there is an affair going on but did say that my wife is having a hard time being a mom, a superstar at work and a wife, so she cut out the wife part. Sucks for me. She's always on her work phone looking at and answering emails. I've been through her work phone regularly and peek over her shoulder and it is always legit work. She comes home and brings her crap with her. It all sucks and is unfair, but from all of my investigations and snooping I really highly doubt she is sneaking off for a fair. I've had the same suspicions, trying hard to confirm them for my own sanity. I've had no luck. Could be she is just really focusing on her career. As I said, her appetite isn't the same as it was since we had kids. She gets her kicks from work presentations and overachieving. I'm really struggling to get through these holidays. We have a trip booked to stay with my parents. They have no idea what's going on, and I'm not going to tell them anything until everything is finalized. Just need to get to the 27th so she doesn't ruin our trip. I plan on speaking to a lawyer the week after the trip, get all my eggs lined up, and approach my wife with a plan for a divorce. If it's what she really wants, I will set her free. Part of me hopes it will spur her to get her crap together and actually try to fix our marriage. There is a part of me that is growing every day, who is sick of the abuse and is looking forward to a new chapter in my life. I don't deserve to be in the situation I am in. It will suck, especially for my kids, but they will understand one day. It has been a rocky few weeks. The plot has certainly thickened. Our road trip was kind of disastrous. My wife was not well, you could see it in her eyes. I was thinking it was the stress of the pending holidays and couple of trips we had planned. Then, I went to grab one of her bags and out fell a vial of meds. All of a sudden everything is starting to make more sense. This crap makes her crazy. Yesterday I found a vial dated for a week after the first vial I found, and then another in her bag from this week. Again, we fought about it. I sent her articles on the dangers and what it can do to your psyche. She didn't read them. So, I took matters into my own hands yesterday and called the doctor from the pill bottle. He referred me to the weight loss center downstairs from him. So, I asked that he was not aware of a prescription for a controlled substance in his name. And was he aware that my wife is not obese and that they are essentially dealing meds in his name? I also said if I found another vial with his name on it, I'd be paying him a visit which he would not like. The weight loss manager called me. I stopped him and told him these meds was dangerous and for obese people. My wife is not obese, and if I find another pill bottle, I'll contact every agency possible until his store is shut down and the quack upstairs loses his license. My wife caught wind of what I did and was super pissed. Things haven't been good, but I stand by what I did. We have 3 children together. I'm the patriarch and it's my responsibility to make sure my family is safe. I told her that even if she ends up leaving me or I end up leaving her, I want to make sure she's off this crap and has a clear head. So no, all indications are that she is not cheating on me. She is just lying to me and taking meds behind my back. Great. I flip-flop a lot. Sometimes I want out, then I think about not seeing my kids every day and having to explain to them why I can't, and I lose my nerve. Things were really good early 2019. Then she changed jobs and started taking these pills. She thinks she is fat and has this goal weight in her head that she'll do anything to get and maintain. It's stupid. She takes these appetite suppressants, then smokes pot and eats chocolate. I've told her she could be 150 and I'd still be insanely attracted to her. She works out a lot and is very muscular, and I try to explain that 8 comes from muscle too. If she can get off these meds which are increasing her anxiety levels and making her crazy, then I think we'll have a chance. Last time we had issues 2 years ago, she had to hit rock bottom before she started making an effort in our relationship. I think I'm dealing with multifaceted issues. Meds, mental disorder, and possibly depression. Honestly, it'd be easier if she was cheating. Then I can blame her that she is a terrible person. But I said vows and promised thick and thin sickness and health. I do love her still even though she is abusive currently. So, I stick it out. I know without me she will fall completely apart. I don't want to see that happen to her. I don't want the kids to see that happen either. I've thought about leaving 1,000 times. But I can't leave them. Not with her in her current state. She won't leave. So, we are in a stalemate. 1 a.m. marks 14 years together for us as we met at a New York Eve party after the ball dropped. This is the first time that I'm really doubting we make it another year. I know I'm in for a long uphill battle. She still blames me for all of her problems and says it's not the meds. She is very volatile and yes, nasty. We were in Disney World and she was literally the only person in the park not smiling. She calms and is nice when the effects wear off. Even affectionate a bit, as she will give me hugs and tell me she loves me. It's like Jekyll and Hyde. I can tell now when she is on it. Her face changes. It reminds me of my mom when she drinks. Growing up I had 2 moms, the nice one and the evil one who would become a monster after 2 glasses of wine. She was never into uppers. We've been together a long time. In our 20s, before kids, we experimented with some stuff but mostly stuck to pot. We still smoke it. She seems to function well on it. Too well. Like she can smoke and go to work. I can't muster much besides snacking and staring at the TV when I smoke. She was pissed when I called the doctor and threatened him. But it feels like on some level she was happy I did it too. Like comment, this is going to be an uphill battle for you. Don't be surprised when her doctor cuts her off. She'll go to another thing. And she will have to increase the dosage every so often to get that effect. She will get more and more agitated, hateful, and all around nasty.